For the longest time, I genuinely believed I was a good husband. I wasn't perfect, but I trusted easily, gave my partner freedom, and never felt the urge to monitor her every step. I wasn't the man who snooped through phones or questioned every late night. To me, love was built on trust, and I thought that should always be enough. Vanessa, my wife, wasn't a bad person in the beginning. She was full of life, magnetic, the kind of woman who could light up a room. But she carried a tendency I ignored far too often. She liked to push limits, test boundaries, almost as if she was playing a game to see how far she could stretch before I finally snapped. At first, it was harmless. She'd overspend on things we didn't need, or come home hours later than she promised. I let those things slide, convincing myself it wasn't worth an argument. But there was always something deeper in her eyes, a spark of defiance, as if she was daring me to react. And then came Jake. From the moment I saw him, I knew exactly who he was and what he wanted. Vanessa introduced him as just a friend. But Jake wasn't just anyone. He was her ex. And men like him don't stick around as harmless buddies. They wait. They linger, pretending loyalty while biding their time for the right moment. I told Vanessa more than once that I didn't trust him. Not because of jealousy, but because I understood his type too well. Each time, she dismissed my concerns with a smirk. "You're overthinking, Richard. He's like a brother. Don't be so insecure." The same old lines over and over. And each time, I wanted to believe her, so I stayed silent. But no matter how much patience you carry, there comes a moment when it runs out. Vanessa was about to learn exactly where my limit lay. One evening, as we sat together in the living room, the TV humming quietly in the background, she brought it up like it was casual conversation. She mentioned that some of her old friends were planning a getaway. A beach house in the Bahamas, a weekend of fun and relaxation. At first, it seemed harmless. I'd never been the kind of husband to restrict her freedom. Independence had always been part of our marriage. But then she said it. Jake would be there too. The air changed instantly. Her tone, her pause, it was all deliberate. She was watching me, waiting for the reaction she expected, maybe even hoping for it. I didn't give her that satisfaction. Instead, I looked at her calmly and told her, "If you go, don't bother coming back." For a brief second, her eyes widened. She hadn't expected me to be that direct. Then she laughed, rolling her eyes like I had just said something absurd. "God, Richard, stop being dramatic. Jake's just a friend. You're insecure for no reason." I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I simply repeated, "Do what you want," and left it at that. She assumed, as always, that I was bluffing. The morning of her trip, she hummed to herself while packing. She folded her clothes neatly, checked her phone for updates from the group, and occasionally glanced at me, waiting for me to break and beg her not to go. But I stayed silent. When she was ready, she rolled her suitcase to the door, leaned in, and gave me a quick kiss on the cheek. "Love you," she said dismissively, as though we hadn't had that conversation at all. Then she left. I didn't chase after her. I didn't remind her of my words. Instead, I stood by the window, watching the taxi drive away, and then picked up my phone. It was time to act. The locksmith I had scheduled the day before arrived within an hour. Every lock in the house was replaced. The keys in Vanessa's purse meant nothing now. Next, I gathered her belongings. Her side of the closet, her shoes, her perfumes, her clothes. I boxed everything carefully and arranged delivery to her parents' house. I wanted no excuse for her to return. Finally, I called my attorney and told him I was ready to proceed with the divorce. There was no hesitation in my voice. The rest of that day, I moved through the house with steady focus. The place no longer felt suffocating. It felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted. That night, for the first time in years, I lay in bed at peace. I imagined Vanessa in the Bahamas, laughing with her friends, completely unaware of what awaited her when she returned. But 3 days later, earlier than expected, I got a notification from the security camera. Someone was at the front door. It was her. Vanessa stood there with her luggage, casually trying to unlock the door. When it didn't work, she tried again and again, frustration creeping across her face. Finally, realization hit. She pulled out her phone and called me. I answered. Richard, the door won't open, she said, panic already leaking into her voice. You don't live here anymore, I told her flatly. Your things are at your parents'. Expect divorce papers soon. Silence. Then shaky breathing. Then desperation. Wait, Richard, please just let me explain. But I hung up. Her text came quickly after that. Richard, please talk to me. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. It's not what it looks like. I ignored them all. Then came a voice note. Hesitant, I played it. Her voice cracked through the phone, filled with panic. Richard, please listen. You were right about Jake. I should have listened to you. I drank too much, and when I woke up, something happened. He recorded it. He's blackmailing me. Please, I didn't know what to do. I need you. There it was. The man she defended, the man she mocked me for questioning, had turned on her. And now she wanted me to fix it. Once I might have. But that version of me was gone. I typed my final message. Enjoy your life, Vanessa. You made your choice. Now live with it. Then I blocked her. That was the end. No second chances. No drawn-out closure. She had spent years pushing me, testing me, convinced I would never leave. She was wrong. From what I heard later, her life fell apart quickly. Her parents, ashamed but unwilling to abandon her, took her in. Her father's disappointment was obvious. Friends tried reaching out to me, pleading for me to give her another chance. It was one mistake, Richard. She's really sorry. But they weren't the ones who lived with her betrayals. I ignored them too. As for Jake, the man she risked everything for, he disappeared the moment things turned ugly. He ghosted her completely, leaving her to deal with the fallout alone. Meanwhile, I moved forward. My work, my peace, my future. None of it included her anymore. I didn't waste time wondering if she regretted it or missed me. I already knew she did. Some choices can't be undone. Some mistakes come with consequences that never go away. Vanessa thought I was bluffing. She thought I'd always forgive, always let things slide. She thought wrong. Life has a way of teaching lessons. Sometimes gently, sometimes with a storm that tears down everything you thought was safe. This was one of those storms. For years, I mistook patience for strength, convincing myself that trust meant ignoring the signs. But real trust goes both ways, and real respect doesn't need to be begged for. When someone shows you, again and again, that your boundaries mean nothing to them, the bravest thing you can do is walk away. And that's what I did. Tell me, have you ever been pushed to that breaking point? Have you ever had to enforce a boundary that someone kept crossing? Because knowing your worth isn't just about what you give. It's also about what you refuse to accept.